for this one, I'm going to need you to have a clean slate, open mind. Just forget what you know about things and go on this journey with me. This is one of my favorite thoughts that I've been working on lately, and there's a lot that goes into it, so hopefully you can keep up. So deja vu is a very interesting concept to me. It's a very interesting concept indeed that links to a few different things that are common knowledge. Well, they're out there. But for one, the fact of reliving a memory, good or bad, if you focus on it enough, then you'll incite the emotions. And then there's the time travel, right? Like I said, a lot of different concepts. The time travel was one thing that I like to think about quite often, but they say you can't go in the past, but you can go in the future because the laws of physics say that you cannot create matter. But is the spirit technically matter? And so I got to thinking one day, well, what if our spirits came here from the future in a very accurate astral projection and embodied these human vessels that we have? Therefore, we're not creating matter, but we have traveled a great distance in time. And when it's all said and done and your life is over, you'll wake up at the same time as someone that died in the 1500s. What if? There's a huge can of worms right there. But, okay, so now deja vu, where it's kind of a link between all of that. Every time you relive a memory, a lot of the times they're unwanted ones where you think about, oh man, I should have done this, could have done that. Now I know the outcome. I know exactly what I should have done, what I should have avoided, when I should have done this. All right. So now let's say as you're doing that, let's say your spirit continues to flow through time and experiences every instance of time, every outcome, every possibility that could occur, right? And so now your current state that you are in with your vessel is experiencing the timeline that you have created through your choices. But every time you run across a situation of deja vu, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the right path. I know that's what I think about deja vu. I know that's a pretty common idea of deja vu as well, where, oh, I'm experiencing deja vu, that must mean that I'm on the right path. So throughout this, know that that's what I'm angling toward. And all right, so you have deja vu. Now, I've had a couple myself where I'm like, hey, I can't do that. And get a little peek about what might occur. Those are always interesting and very rare, but it does happen. But I find myself with a constant state of deja vu some days, where it's not like, every moment, but 3 or 4 times in a day, which is very interesting. But then I might go 3 or 4 months, maybe a year without any deja vu. And those are usually times when I'm just existing. I'm not chasing anything. I'm just existing. Those are the times where I do not have deja vu. However, when I'm working toward a goal, when I'm trying to make a difference in my life, that is when deja vu does occur. So proof enough to me that deja vu is an indication that you are on the correct path. All right, now, what if your spirit is the one signaling the deja vu? And what if that deja vu is occurring because the future version of yourself on a different timeline that had gone through a similar situation and said, yeah, this is the turning point that I should have taken. And now your spirit's going, ding, ding, ding. Check it out. You're doing the right thing. Interesting thought, right? So you could very well be your own cause of deja vu, just on a different timeline. Your spirit running through time freely and noticing all the different things. Because I believe as well that life, the whole purpose of life is to learn a series of information. Go through a set of experiences and grow from them to achieve an enlightenment that would be required of us as individuals to improve what we did not have. Well, to improve what we had but had little of, or to create something we did not have, character-wise. Now, it would be a shame to have only one go at it, which is where I think the belief of reincarnation comes into play, and where I think that this is very on track with that as well. But I think that would be wonderful if one life would effectively be thousands, millions of different lives in this situation where you would be able to experience all of the different timelines. And so if you were to have a perfect life, in other words, it would be a life filled with nothing but deja vu. Every waking moment would be the right moment. Now, you might not have that in one lifetime, in one timeline. There may be some that have a lot more than others. But to have a constant state of deja vu in one timeline would be very impressive. However, if your spirit experiences all of the instances, all of the possibilities, then in that way, you are effectively experiencing a lifetime of deja vu, although it's spread out to different timelines. One where you're president, one where you're homeless, and everything in between. And that is an interesting thing for me to think about. So I started focusing more on this, and once a week, every Wednesday, I make time to think about what could have gone a little bit better, and instead of dwelling on it, in fact, go into a point where I'd be giving my previous timelines some advice. And it's having an interesting effect. Now here comes that open-minded aspect, right? But, well, I suppose most of us would have been pretty open-minded, but it's interesting where it's at this time, every week now, because I've been doing this for about 2 months. 2 months every week now, I take a moment to reflect and to try to imagine a better way and what could have gone easier. And it's starting to have a change. There's obviously some psychology that's gone into it, but the deja vu is not going away. It's still happening very consistently. So what I would say is maybe give yourself some time to help out your other timelines. Because we do it accidentally. We do it in times where we just we have something traumatic occur, and, or, oh, we could have had something better, like buying Bitcoin, buying stock in Apple, right? There's always something that could have been improved. And these are the things that we all think about. Oh man, it would have been great if I would have been a millionaire. I could have done it this way. Go back in time with the lottery numbers. But if deja vu happens accidentally, why can't it happen on purpose? It's kind of an interesting depth to the idea, isn't it? To focus on your life in a positive way and to open yourself up to your past and to your future self in an open arms approach, instead of, oh, I hated going through that, considering instead, well, from this point that occurred, this undesirable situation led me to the following series of events. And because I went through what I did, it altered my perspective in a way that I was able to see something and avoid another situation that might have been a lot worse. Or perhaps I was able to have an open mind in my perspective that was crafted from this instance that allowed me to aid somebody that was having an extreme breakdown. They were completely overwhelmed with their situation, and thankfully I went through something like this so that I was able to relate with them. So there's that mindset to take into it, that a life of constant deja vu, or as this recording would state, a perfect life, is not necessarily a life filled with joy. It's a life filled with growth, a life filled with achievement, and a life filled with knowledge attained through sweat. So there is that to consider. The bad things that occur are not necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of things, if you put it in this light. Deja vu. Essentially, our future teaching our past. Kind of a fun thought, right?